So this is some major news that's been going on over the past couple of months. Hasbro China has started really to crack down on bootleggers in China and specifically in the Shanghai region. And just overnight last night on the other side of the globe, a major police crackdown and raid happened at one of the major factories of these bootlegging companies. Some of you people might even be familiar with the name. A company by the name of Wei Jiang, which, to my knowledge, from my personal knowledge, they really started doing their stuff around the time of Age of Extinction. They would just pretty much straight up take Age of Extinction toys, blow them up a little bit, slap them in new packaging, and put them out there. And then around the same time, Titan Returns was doing its thing with its headmasters and everything like that, and they were doing that also. But a lot of people are more familiar with Wei Jiang because of their one-for-one cheaper bootlegs of Masterpiece product. That's probably their best well-known thing of it. I mean, obviously also they started doing stuff of the Titan class, but mostly the high-end Transformer stuff that's like, hey, you want to get our, high-end Transformer stuff but cheaper? We'll bootleg it for you. So like they did, Devastator, Omega Supreme. I mean, these guys are all over the spectrum of that. And you know what? I can't blame Hasbro and Takara because I've seen it many times where people see a Masterpiece toy and they, the common comment that I would see is, I'll wait for the bootleg. And I mean, look, okay, fine. I understand not everyone has tons of money and they want to own the product. So they're looking for cheaper alternatives. But at the end of the day, it's like you have to understand that if you buy, let's put it this way. If a majority of you have the mentality that you're going to buy the bootleg of a Masterpiece Beast Wars Dinobot, then if in the future they decide not to do any Masterpiece Beast Wars product, don't be surprised. It's one of those things, and I don't want to sound like I'm taking Hasbro's side. You guys know, if you look at my finance videos, I don't take Hasbro's side. I always take the side of that makes the most sense for us, the consumer. And I always want to have the best product and to continue having the best product. And on top of all of that, to continue just having the product to begin with. Meaning that I want to have Masterpiece toys forever and Beast Wars Masterpiece specifically forever. But if people constantly turn to the bootlegs as an alternative, that doesn't help us. It really doesn't. What it does is you get a cheaper version. You got it cheaper. Hasbro and Takara didn't get a dime of it. And from their perspective, even though you got and I use air quotes here, Masterpiece Dinobot, even though it's a bootleg, it doesn't count as a sale towards that character or product on the I guess we'll call it the marble counting that is on Hasbro and Takara's side. So knockoffs hurt people in a lot of different ways. I've always been attracted to knockoffs that have been unique, stuff that's been weird, stuff that's been designs that have never happened, weird color schemes, but I've never been a fan of the one-for-one scale knockoff. It's never been something that has appealed to me because, in all honesty, and I've worked with some of these knockoff guys in the past, and let's be real, it's never usually the best kind of quality. It's usually never made with the best kind of safety measures. Sometimes the plastic comes from dubious sources. On top of that, that's a whole other ball game when we get into SABS plastic. It's a whole mess of things. So the news that went down is essentially in Shanghai, there was a huge crackdown. 5 people were arrested, and they just found tons of stuff. Tons and tons of stuff. Supposedly it was an investigation that started in April in China, and they were just kind of trying to figure out what's going down. And then they finally got a couple of names. They ended up in the Guangdong province of Saito. I'm pronouncing this totally wrong. And apparently, Wei Jiang had a factory that had pretty much 8,300 square foot function and 130 employees, producing about 1,500 counterfeit Transformers a day to be shipped out all over the globe. United States, Canada, Japan, everywhere. And it's just it's nuts. And supposedly one of the people who got arrested was and they quote here, a well-known Transformers toy collector who was developing the figures by dismantling the authentic toys and scanning them into the computer. So they guess not nice little CAD designs and everything like that. It's kind of a mess. I mean, what's hilarious is they wrote here, the counterfeits make up for over 100 million yuan, or about $14 million USD total. Man, it's even more than that. I think 14 million is just like is just like 6 months of third party. Maybe they're talking about just Wei Jiang's kind of stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's even more than that. They said there they seized over 30,000 counterfeit figures and parts, and they have tons of photos here of the factory, and it looks like there was a whole bunch of bumblebees being assembled, possibly the movie masterpiece Bumblebee. That seems to be, again, China loves their movie stuff, so that seems to be the number one thing that gets bootlegged is movie stuff. They love bad quality movies. That's China for you, I guess. I don't want to knock China, but man, when it comes to their taste in fiction, sometimes I scratch my head, and I watch a lot of it. But yeah, a Shanghai Municipal Public Security Depot, the SMPSB, did a huge raid, and a lot of people got arrested, and hopefully this, puts a little dent in the third-party / bootleg industry. At the end of the day, think about, let's say, if you're a listener and you're a hardcore third-party collector, think about the amount of money that you must have put into third party up to this point. And I could understand your argument, Hasbro product doesn't do it for you, Takara product is inferior. I get that a lot. But at the same time, I think that the market has taken such a huge hit by losing those individuals who would have been putting money into Hasbro product. And I don't want to defend Hasbro. They've made a lot of stupid decisions. There's a lot of greed going on in a lot of different areas. I get that. I get that completely. I always feel, if you feel that you want to get the best possible product, go for it. But you have to understand that where you put your money does have a domino and butterfly effect in the long run. And me personally, if I find out that, like Beast Wars Masterpiece, stops after Tigatron because people rather buy bootlegs of Tigatron and Megatron and Dinobot, to me, it's like, man, well, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? There's nothing I could do. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but by you buying the bootleg instead of the official product, now my Beast Wars Masterpiece line comes to an end. And then, people are going to, well, just then wait for third party to finish it for you. Okay. Is that how we're going to have to go now? We're going to have to rely on third party companies in order to finish our collections on an unofficial capacity. I don't know. It's a deep discussion. It really is. It really is. I mean, I've never been a big third-party guy. I've said many times on the podcast that when I do buy third-party, it's got to be something really unique. It really has. It has to be something that I know Hasbro just has no interest in doing, and thus third-party would fill. The best way to put it, it's a third-party company doing something that in no way would be taking money off of Hasbro's table. Super Mario animated repaints. That would never happen. Nintendo doesn't play ball with anybody unless it's like Jazzware Productions or something. But there's so many like cool stuff that has come out from third party that I do own. I'm just turning my head and just looking. Like the Machine Wars homages. All the weird stuff, the GoBot homages, love that stuff. It is what it is, but as time progresses now, especially I find even Hasbro's kind of dipping into the weird, and I feel that that's even a reality now. So, I used to say never, because now Hasbro does anything and everything now. So it used to be that you never get that weird G2 repaint of something, and then now it happens. So let's just see how this turns out. It's pretty messy right now. I'm going to link the article because it's a pretty lengthy article and has a lot of nice photos. There's two articles essentially, but the main article has a lot of really nice photos from the factory and the raid and everything. It's pretty messy. It's pretty messy, but hopefully this, again, like I said, puts a little dent into the bootleggers and puts an end to that kind of counterfeit product getting out there. And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I understand, you know, everyone's financial situation is different, but at the same time, it's like, we got to put an end to this kind of stuff because it does hurt our enjoyment of the hobby in the long run, because this could affect that figure that you would like to have made not happening because sales were low. And if sales were low and you contributed to, you know, buying on the other side of the ocean instead of buying, you know, what was intended, you have no one else to blame but yourself.